The bulldozer roared to life at exactly 7 in the morning without any warning at all. Daniel Reyes froze on his porch, coffee cup trembling violently in his scarred, weathered hand. His mailbox splintered instantly beneath the massive steel blade approaching fast. Sharon Whitfield sat smiling inside the cab, sunglasses gleaming under the harsh morning sunlight. She had warned him twice before about violating her precious homeowners association mailbox regulations. Daniel had simply painted a small American flag honoring his years of military service overseas. That tiny act of pride apparently violated some obscure clause buried deep in HOA bylaws. Now his mailbox lay crushed, scattered wood and metal littering the freshly cut green lawn. His wheelchair wheels crunched over broken splinters as he rolled forward, stunned beyond words. Neighbors peeked through curtains, afraid to intervene against the woman who controlled their community board. Sharon climbed down from the bulldozer, brushing imaginary dust from her crisp white blouse. She smirked. Existed for everyone, including disabled war heroes apparently too. Daniel's hands shook. Not from fear, but from raw. Him. He had survived 2 deployments, countless explosions. Yet nothing prepared him for this humiliation today. His daughter Mia ran outside, eyes wide with horror at the destroyed family mailbox. She knelt beside him, gripping his shoulder, whispering that they would fight this injustice together. Sharon waved dismissively, climbing into her luxury sedan, tires screeching against the quiet suburban pavement. The cul-de-sac fell silent except for distant birds and Daniel's heavy, ragged breathing. Mia pulled out her phone, recording the wreckage, capturing evidence for what came next. Neighbors slowly emerged, whispering nervously about Sharon's growing reputation for cruel, unchecked authority abuse. One woman approached cautiously, holding a folder thick with HOA violation paperwork. She explained that Sharon had targeted 3 other families for similarly petty, discriminatory reasons before. Daniel's jaw tightened, memories of military discipline reminding him that retreat was never an option. He thanked Linda quietly, promising this would finally be the moment everything changed forever. That evening, table, surrounded by photographs of the destruction. Mia researched HOA laws furiously, discovering Sharon had exceeded her authority multiple times before. Property destruction without written consent violated both state law and the association's own bylaws. Daniel's hands stopped shaking once he realized justice might actually be within his reach. He called his old friend, Marcus Chen. Property rights disputes. Marcus listened carefully, anger rising in his voice as Daniel described the entire incident. He promised to review every document, every notice issued. Daniel hung up, glowing faintly under the porch light. For the first time since deployment, he felt something stirring beyond simple frustration alone. It was determination, sharp and clear, refusing to let one woman destroy his dignity. Outside, moonlight illuminated the wreckage scattered across his front lawn. Tomorrow would bring paperwork, phone calls, and the beginning of a long legal battle. Tonight belonged to grief, Anger. Wounded veteran. He whispered a promise to himself, vowing Sharon would finally face real consequences soon. Mia squeezed his hand gently, reassuring him that their community would eventually stand beside them. Neither knew yet how many neighbors secretly hoped someone would finally challenge Sharon's tyranny. That hope was about to spread quickly through the entire neighborhood. Marcus arrived early the next morning. Briefcase packed with notepads and legal precedent printouts. He photographed the wreckage meticulously, documenting every splinter as potential courtroom evidence later. Daniel explained the timeline, mentioning Sharon's repeated threats regarding mailbox color and flag placement. Marcus frowned, disguised as HOA enforcement rarely held up legally. He revealed something startling. That Sharon herself had violated several association rules previously without consequences. Apparently she parked an unregistered trailer behind her house for over 8 consistent months. Daniel raised an eyebrow, sensing hypocrisy might become their strongest weapon inside the courtroom. Linda Park returned that afternoon, bringing 2 more neighbors willing to share their stories. The Ahmed family described Sharon rejecting their wheelchair ramp request despite federal disability accessibility laws. Another family recounted fines issued for displaying cultural decorations during religious holidays. Each story painted Sharon as someone wielding small power with disproportionate, almost gleeful cruelty. Marcus began compiling testimonies, realizing this case extended far beyond one destroyed mailbox. Meanwhile, confident nobody would dare challenge her authority publicly, she mailed Daniel a formal notice, demanding immediate replacement matching strict association mailbox specifications exactly. Daniel laughed bitterly, surprised she expected compliance after personally destroying his original mailbox herself. Mia drafted a furious response letter, citing video evidence and witness statements supporting their claims. Sharon ignored it completely, hosting an emergency HOA meeting to reinforce her unquestionable board authority. Daniel attended despite his exhaustion, wheeling himself into the crowded community clubhouse that evening. Whispers spread instantly as residents recognized him, some offering supportive nods, others avoiding eye contact entirely. Sharon addressed the room, claiming Daniel's flag violated uniformity standards protecting neighborhood property values supposedly. Daniel raised his hand, voice steady despite years of suppressed military discipline finally breaking free. He described his service, his sacrifice, and the bulldozer crushing everything he built proudly himself. Gasps rippled through the room as residents realized the destruction's true brutal physical scale. Sharon's confident smile faltered slightly, sensing the room's mood shifting dangerously against her favor. Linda stood next, sharing her own family's unfair treatment under Sharon's increasingly tyrannical leadership style. One by one, recounting incidents long hidden beneath quiet fear and intimidation. Sharon's face reddened, realizing her carefully constructed authority was crumbling before everyone's watching eyes. She attempted damage control, insisting rules existed equally. Yet evidence contradicted her every desperate claim. Marcus stood to file a lawsuit against Sharon's HOA position. He cited property destruction, discrimination patterns, and abuse of authority documented across multiple incidents. The room erupted into murmurs, some residents cheering quietly while others sat stunned. Processing everything. Sharon stormed out, slamming the clubhouse door, her authority visibly cracking under mounting public pressure. Daniel exhaled deeply, feeling something shift inside him. Hope replacing weeks of simmering anger. Outside, asking if the meeting brought them closer to actual justice. Daniel nodded slowly, explaining that momentum now favored truth over Sharon's crumbling, fragile facade. That night, acted Marcus, eager to join the growing collective lawsuit effort. Evidence piled higher, witness statements multiplying, painting a clear pattern of deliberate, targeted harassment. Sharon sat alone in her office, suddenly realizing consequences were finally approaching rapidly. Her phone buzzed repeatedly. Board members distancing themselves, fearing association with her reckless behavior. For the first time, ability might soon shatter her comfortable power. Daniel slept peacefully that night, dreaming of justice finally arriving after years of quiet struggle. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as Daniel wheeled himself confidently toward the plaintiff's table. Marcus organized evidence neatly. Photographs and witness testimonies stacked beside legal briefs. Sharon entered wearing an expensive suit, projecting false confidence despite visibly trembling. Nervous hands. Judge Patricia Coleman called the session to order, reviewing documents detailing the mailbox destruction incident. Marcus presented video footage showing Sharon operating the bulldozer without any legal authorization whatsoever. Gasps echoed through the courtroom as jurors watched the mailbox shatter into splintered pieces. Daniel testified calmly, describing years of military service and the painful humiliation he endured. He explained how Sharon's actions targeted his patriotic flag display under flimsy, discriminatory pretenses. Linda Park testified next, detailing Sharon's pattern of selectively enforcing rules against minority families. The Ahmed family described denied accessibility requests, violating federal disability protection laws clearly established. Sharon's attorney attempted weak objections, but evidence overwhelmingly supported the plaintiff's compelling, consistent narrative. Sharon herself took the stand, insisting she merely enforced community standards fairly and consistently. Under cross-examination, Marcus revealed her own unreported HOA violations spanning multiple consecutive years. Her credibility crumbled instantly as jurors exchanged disbelieving glances throughout her stumbling. Defensive testimony. Judge Coleman reviewed everything carefully, recognizing clear patterns of abuse, discrimination, and unauthorized property destruction. After deliberation, the jury returned. Verdict ready. Physically feel. The foreman announced Sharon liable for property destruction, harassment, regulations. Damages totaled exactly $25,000. Covering mailbox replacement and significant emotional distress compensation. Sharon's face went pale, hands gripping the table as reality finally crashed down completely. The judge additionally ordered her immediate removal from the Homeowners Association board permanently effective. Gasps turned into quiet applause as Daniel closed his eyes, relief washing over him completely. Mia hugged him tightly, tears streaming down her face, whispering that justice finally arrived properly. Outside the courthouse, reporters gathered, Eager to document this remarkable victory against unchecked HOA power, Daniel addressed cameras calmly, thanking neighbors who finally found courage to speak truthful testimony. He emphasized that abuse of power, regardless of size, deserved accountability and meaningful consequences always. Sharon exited separately, avoiding cameras. Her reputation permanently shattered across the entire community network. Weeks later, moving away from neighbors who once feared her, Daniel received his settlement, rebuilding his mailbox with an even larger, prouder American flag. Neighbors gathered for the unveiling, applauding as he proudly displayed his restored, symbolic mailbox. Linda organized a community fund, helping other families challenge unfair HOA practices going forward. The Ahmed family finally received their wheelchair ramp, approved unanimously by the newly elected board. Daniel watched the changes unfold, feeling pride knowing his struggle protected future vulnerable families too. Mia often visited the rebuilt mailbox, remembering how courage transformed devastating loss into lasting victory. Marcus continued representing families nationwide, inspired by Daniel's unwavering strength throughout the entire ordeal. The cul-de-sac now thrived under fairness, respect. Daniel often told Mia that justice rewarded patience, courage, and injustice. His story spread online, inspiring countless viewers facing similar HOA abuse within their own neighborhoods. Sharon's downfall became a cautionary tale, proving unchecked power eventually faces undeniable, deserved consequences. Daniel's mailbox, rebuilt and proud, stood as a lasting symbol of resilience and hard-won justice. In the end, truth completely over fear, cruelty,